I'm gonna grab a blanket so that I'm comfortable and warm when I'm telling this story. It's not a story, it's a testimony that I feel like it's been long overdue. I should have told the testimony a long time ago, but I'm telling the testimony now because I've established this platform for myself. One thing about me, I'm a Christian, and if you didn't know that, you know that today. I believe strongly in God. I went to university. I did my first year in 2019. So when I did my first year in 2019, I've always kind of prayed to God and said, I do not want to be unemployed, and I don't want to do this degree for the sake of doing it and not be employed after, because at the time everyone was like, oh, the qualification that you're doing is not really a marketable qualification and all of that. Others are saying the opposite as to oh, it's a very good qualification, I think you're gonna get employment quickly. And as in, people had their different opinions when it came to my qualification, which is very concerning if you ask me. I had always been praying to God to say, hey God, I don't want to be unemployed, and I don't want to do this qualification and end up with just the degree and piece of paper. So I was like, you are God and you're able to do what no man can do. Before I came here, I prayed and I said to God, God, let it be your will that I'm here today, that I'm doing this course. Understand? I had put my desires before God. I was like, God, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to pursue, and these are the list of universities that I would like to go to, and this is the kind of career that I want to pursue. But it did not work out like that. And I was like, besides the fact that what I wanted did not happen, then God, let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. I said to God, lead me where your purpose for me is. And that was my prayer all along. And during my varsity years, after I had gotten admitted and everything just kind of sailed smoothly, I always had this prayer to say, after the completion of my qualification, may I not be unemployed. And as much as I was making that prayer to God, whenever I remember to make the prayer, because I won't sit here and lie and say it was every day that I made this prayer, but I definitely did pray about it a lot. I prayed about this a lot. And yeah, I completed my diploma in 2022, and that was still my prayer. I don't want to be unemployed. I don't want to sit at home and do nothing. In 2021, I'm sorry, not 2022, 2021, that's when I completed my diploma. Or maybe I said 2021, I'm not sure. I said I completed my diploma in 2021, and I applied for an advanced diploma that I would pursue in 2022. So I graduated in 2022 whilst I was pursuing my advanced diploma, and that was still my prayer. I was praying the very same prayer going forward. I pray to God to say, I do not want to be unemployed. Please open opportunities for me in this field. Yeah. In this very field, I would like to get an opportunity here, because this is what I did. You understand? But in all of it, I'm still praying to God. I'm like, hey, I let your will be done, you know. I have my own desires, I have my own prayers that I'm putting before you, but at the same time, I need your will to be done, because your will is perfect. Your will is gonna lead me to the right place. My will might lead me to distraction, but your will never lead me to distraction. So I continued to pray throughout 2022. I completed my advanced diploma by God's grace. And yeah, it came 2023 without me speaking about starting another. Okay, I think I'm going to put it in here that the degree that I wanted from the get-go, I prayed to God about it in 2022. So while I was praying for God not to leave me hanging with regards to being employed in the sector, in the field that I had a qualification in, I was praying to God towards me being admitted in the qualification that I wanted from the get-go. And I applied for that qualification, which is the one that I'm doing right now, in LLB. I'm doing LLB currently with the University of South Africa. I applied for it and I got admitted. I was excited. I was like, oh yeah, finally, even though I didn't have any funding, I didn't know how things are gonna work out, I just had hope. In all of it, I had hope. You understand? I'm not gonna say I had too much faith, or I had hope. I'm human, I had my own doubts here and there, but I had hope that somehow things are gonna work out. And if there's anything that I say continuously, is that God is gonna make a way, and God keeps making a way. So yeah, I got admitted into that degree, but I was still praying about employment, because how am I gonna pay for my fees? I'm not funded. I do not have any form of funding. So I prayed to God. I continued to pray to God, but in 2023, something just dawned upon me, which was fasting. I'm not perfect when it comes to fasting. I have started fasting and left it. I had, there are times where I told myself that I'm gonna fast for 3 days, and I didn't fast for 3 days. I ended up fasting for 1 day. There are days when I said I'm gonna fast for 7 days, and I didn't do it. But in 2023, it was a time for me to focus, and I did. I had the courage, and surprisingly, I had the strength to do it. I prayed to God. I said, mind you, a job is not the only thing that I was praying for at the time, but it was one of the main things I was praying for. And at times when you pray, some things are gonna seem so impossible. So I read down the 21 days as in a calendar. I wrote those down, like as in from the date that I would start the 21 days to the day that I would finish the 21 days. I also wrote down my prayer request, or rather a list of the things that I was asking from God. And when I tell you that I fasted and prayed for the entire 21 days, I was surprised myself that I was able to do it. But I did it. And I think it was also around the time that I lost a lot of weight without me even realizing that I was losing weight, because I didn't have a scale. And the only thing that was there to tell me if I had lost weight or not was my clothes. And my clothes were not really showing much of a difference, but I fasted. It was not like 21 days, like 24 hours every day. No, it was a 6 to 6 kind of fast. I'm not sure if it was like, if I was waking at 4, if I was waking at 6, but yeah, it was kind of a 6 to 6 kind of fast. And I would pray during that time. And I also made it known to God that I'm not perfect in this thing that I'm doing. And I had never fasted for that long in my entire life. I didn't tell anyone that I was in this fast. I didn't tell anybody. So I fasted. This was 2023. I think it was in February. I fasted I don't remember if it was from February to March. Unfortunately, I didn't have my diary where I used to write everything in. But yeah, I fasted and prayed for 21 days in March. I was also due to graduate from my advanced diploma was it in April? Yeah, it was in April. I was going to graduate for my advanced diploma in April. In March, I got a message. I think it was from my sister, if I'm not mistaken, and it was a post from a department that I did not know existed. I didn't know this department existed, but yeah, there it was. Honestly, this is just one of the departments that are hiding at the back there. Not a lot of people know about it, and my sister sent me, and it was a screenshot. So when I was going to apply, I was also meant to apply for her and a friend. So I did not only apply for myself, I applied for me, my sister, and my friend. The day that I applied, when I tell you that the devil was was at work, I had to go and make copies. After making copies, I had to fill in the Z83 forms. So I took a taxi to town, and when I got to town, yeah, my mind was fighting so hard against me. Like, it was like my body was fighting against my spirit. I don't know, but there was a battle of some sort that day. This was after the fast. I had completed the fast, I was done with the fast, and I was applying for other jobs. But this specific one, there was a battle that I did not know what it was until everything was done. The battle was so strong that when I was going to the internet cafe to make copies, something was telling me to go back home. This is not gonna work out. And it was the last day of those posts. It was the closing date. This thing, whatever it was at the back of my mind, it was like, go home. It's the closing date. Just go home. I think my sister had also given me money to do this. So I think if there's anything that pushed me on that day was also the fact that, oh, this is my sister's money. She gave me this in good faith, and I'm not only going to apply for myself, I'm going to apply for her, and I'm going to apply for my friend as well. So it doesn't make sense for me to go back home. Whereas she trusted me with this money, she said, go and apply. I went to the internet cafe, I made copies. That thing at the back of my mind is like, girl, just go home. This is not gonna work out. It's not different from the other applications that you've made. Just leave everything and go home. It's not gonna work out. I finished. I went to I don't remember if I had to certify or not, but I went to the taxi. I got into a taxi and I had to wait for the taxi to get home. Whilst I'm sitting in the taxi waiting for the taxi to take me to Joburg, that thing comes again and it's like, girl, you see, even the taxi is not gonna my eyes. It's like, even the taxi is not gonna move. Just get off the taxi and go home. Yeah, I had to fight. I had to fight a mental battle because I'm sitting there like, should I go home? Should I go? I don't even know where I'm going. I have to use a GPS. It's Joburg. I'm not familiar with Joburg. CBD is it. So I'm scared. The address there shows Joburg CBD. And I'm also praying to God to say, hey, I hope I get this, like I don't get lost. I get to the address as soon as I get to Joburg. Like I don't get lost. I head straight to the location, to this department. The taxi got full and it started moving. Did that thing stop? No. It said go to Joburg. It's fine. Now that the taxi is moving, go. But when you don't find this, you just walk straight to the taxi rank and take a taxi and go back home. When the taxi got to Joburg, I was getting into Joburg, I took out my phone and went to GPS to search for this location. You will not believe. I looked at my phone. It showed me the location, as in you have arrived. And I looked to the side. I saw a board that was written like the very same department that I was going into. And I was like to the taxi driver, oh, stop. And I got off the taxi. I was so surprised. I thought I was going to get to Joburg and look for this place. I didn't look for the place. Now that was sort of the first confirmation that this was for me. It was the first confirmation. Did I know? Did I think of it as in like it's the first confirmation that? But I still have the thing. It's the closing date. They might have taken away the submission boxes. Maybe they're not allowing people to submit because yeah, it's late. It was the 31st of March. It was the 31st of March. Okay. I submit. I go in the building and I see there are other people submitting. Others are even still filling in the application forms. And then I just signed for me, my sister, and my friend. And I submitted because I had already filled everything in. Yeah, I just submitted those documents and I left. And so I was like, that was it. So I just submitted just like that. And I thought this is gonna be a house. I mean, this is Joburg CBD, and I'm not familiar with the place, so I thought it was gonna be hectic. I thought it was gonna be a mess of me looking for this place that I don't know, and then finding it, and then getting there, and they'll be like, oh, it's the last day, it's the closing date, we've already closed, unfortunately, go back home, yeah, sorry. No, I submitted. Okay, first confirmation. I got it, I was like, this is yours. Not even. Remember I said I applied on the 31st of March. If you've ever applied for a government post, you know, it takes months. It takes months and months and months. In April, it was days before my graduation, I received a call from this department. Yeah, I don't remember if it was also the year that I had also gone to another interview or not, but I received a call from this department. They're like, hi, I was speaking to so and so. I'm like, yes. They're like, yeah, I would like to invite you for an interview. I was like, me? Yeah. I'm like, okay. Well, and then it rings now. Everything's starting to click. I'm like, God, you are good. After dropping that call, I'm like, God, you are good. I started just worshiping God a little bit and giving him all the glory that he deserves, because I knew right there and then that it was him. Even though I didn't know that I was going to get the job or not, I knew it was God. The day of the interview arrived. I had not applied for one post. I had applied for about, I think the limit was 3 posts for this job. I applied to three or two, something like that. I think it was three. So the day comes, I go to the interview. Again, I'm like, it's not the same location that I submitted my applications. It's a different location, but again, it's still in Joburg CBD. So I'm like, this is not the same location I submitted my CVs in. So how am I gonna get there? I have to use GPS again, and I need to pray again. So I prayed to God. I was like, I don't want to get lost. I don't want to get lost. God. Like, I don't want to get lost, and I don't want to be late either. So the day came, I got ready and I went to the interview. When I got to the interview, when I got to Joburg, I got off on a certain street. I walked straight to the interview building. I was not lost. I did not have to cross and jump streets. Yes, I had to cross as I was going there because I was literally walking on the same street, and that was like literally another confirmation that God is with me. And the prayer and fasting had been answered. I walked straight to the building. When I tell you I did not confuse the building for another building, I was not a regular in Joburg. I didn't know Joburg like that. I didn't know the street names. I didn't know anything about Joburg. Yet I lived, I was under the city of Joburg. I still am. But Joburg CBD, no. It was not my thing. I'm gonna have to wait until this passes. Okay, so I walked and I got to the building. I got to the reception. And I was like, hi, I'm here for an interview. And they're like, oh, go to this floor. I went to that floor. There were a lot of people. There were a lot of other people sitting there waiting to be interviewed for different posts. Not for the same post that I was there for different posts. Yeah. I got to I just sat and joined everybody in a different room. It was like a conference or a boardroom sort of room. I waited there with others. People were called. I got there at, I don't remember if my interview was at 9 or 10, but something like that. It was in the morning, in the AMs. I got there before my interview time because that when you have an interview, you have to get there before a certain time, right? So I waited. At 12, as I was waiting for the interview. Government interviews. You don't get interviewed at the time they say you're gonna get interviewed. So I was still waiting to be interviewed, and I got a call from the same department. Tomorrow, the day after the interview, was my graduation day. I got a call. They were inviting me for another interview. I had not yet been interviewed for the one that I came there for. This was proof that God's hand was at work. God was at work. You cannot convince me otherwise. So as I was sitting there, I got a call for an interview the next day. I've not yet interviewed for the one that I came there for. I'm still waiting to be interviewed. I said, okay, yeah, I'm definitely gonna be here. Forget about my graduation, but I still want to go. This is my graduation. I don't care that it's my second graduation. It's still my graduation. I still want to go, right? So yeah, we ended up, me and another group, they ended up forgetting about us. It was a blessing in disguise, because when I tell you that them forgetting about us was a blessing in disguise, it was at around 4 when we realized that we had been forgotten. And then one of the girls who was also there to be interviewed was like, guys, are you sure they didn't forget about us? Let me go and check and also ask. And then she went, and this guy from HR came. It was like, yo, we had long forgotten about you guys. We thought we were finished with interviews now. I said, well, it doesn't look like you're finished. And then they started, pacing things up. And then to start interviewing this group of people they had forgotten at 4 o'clock. It was not o'clock, but it was like around 4 p.m. So yeah, they started interviewing us. I also prayed to God that, Holy Spirit, let it be you who speaks in that interview and not me. I got into the interview. I wouldn't say I was nervous. I was okay. That was also another confirmation that God was there. It was as if I had taken some sort of sedative and something to suppress my feelings or my emotions or the nervousness, because I was not nervous at all. I was not nervous at all. Or maybe a bit, but I don't remember being nervous. I got into the interview room, the boardroom. I sat down, and everybody was Mind you, these are people who have been in interviews the whole entire day. They've been interviewing, they've been a panel for since morning, or maybe even since yesterday, or maybe the whole entire week. They didn't show a sign of being tired. It was just surprising to me, honestly. It was so surprising. I was like, okay. They were so chatty, they were laughing, like it's like they were having fun and they enjoyed being there. When I got there, we had a little conversation, like the icebreaker conversation, and everybody was just laughing. This seems like a movie to me because this was an interview. This was a job interview. They asked me questions. They didn't feel like questions. They don't feel like questions. It didn't feel like an interview. It felt like just another conversation, I strongly believe that at that point in moment, God was there and the Holy Spirit was there, and I was not speaking by my own might, power, wisdom, understanding, or intelligence. It was beyond me, because I answered the interview questions in a blink of an eye. It was, and when the interview was over, I was like, they were like, do you have anything else to tell us? I was like, no, that's about it. And they asked if I had a question to ask. I said, when can I expect a response? I don't even remember what they said, but I felt so much at ease. When you feel like you've done really great. I felt like I had done really great, and yet I didn't do much. I didn't have to break my brain to think of answers to give these people. It was like a conversation. And the interview was over just like that. And then I started working. Remember, I didn't know Joburg, so I don't want to get lost looking for the taxi rank and all of that. And miraculously, there were people that I could work with after the interview, and I worked with them, and we were just chit-chatting. It was fun. We were even laughing about the interviews and everything. I worked, and they were going to Brew Taxi Rank. I was not going to Brew Taxi Rank. I was going to different taxi rank. And I got to the street where I knew that if I walked straight, I'm definitely going to reach my taxi rank. And I let them go, and I took that street and then started walking until I got to my taxi rank. Tomorrow is another interview for me, by the way, so I have to go home and prepare. So I go home. I'm now preparing for my graduation. I'm preparing for my interview. The next morning came. I got up, got ready for my graduation and interview at the same time. Hence, I was late for my interview. For my graduation. So I got ready. I was doing my makeup, putting on my suit and everything. And I went to the interview. It was the same location, so this time around, I didn't even have to panic about getting lost. And I got to the interview venue. And because I knew from what happened yesterday, the interviews could take the whole day. So I approached one of the panel members and I was like, hey, ma, I have a graduation today and I really, really want to go there. Can I please be the first to be interviewed? So much courage. Where did I get it? I don't know. God, again. So yeah, I got to they put me separately from everybody else. I was like in the first in line waiting to be interviewed. They had, because I was first, they had to look for my application and my CV and everything that had my name in it so that I can be interviewed first. And I got to the interview. Again, the interview was not interviewee. It was so simple. It was a different panel, by the way, a different panel. Not the same panel that I interviewed with yesterday. It was a different panel. The interview was smooth. We were just cruising nicely. Everybody looked like they were having fun. But this panel didn't look as energetic as yesterday's panel. Mind you, it was still in the morning. Yeah, so everything was quite okay. I got interviewed and the interview was smooth. Everything went well. And I left. Mind you, I'm in Joburg. And the interview is taking place, the graduation is taking place in the Vaal. That's a long drive to the Vaal. So I had to go to the taxi rank, take a local taxi that would take me to Westgate taxi rank, and get a taxi there to the Vaal. Go to, the taxi would take me to Vereeniging, get to Vereeniging, and take a taxi to Vanderbijl Park. I got to Vanderbilt Park and everybody was just already in the hall. But I still went to get my gown, my regalia and everything. And I was just waiting outside for my friend to come out from the graduation, so I did not walk, unfortunately. But I was not really stressed about that. I was just happy that I'd gotten 2 interviews back to back. Glory be to God. Yeah, we went to take pictures and everything was nice. The graduation ended. I went back home. A few days after, I got a message. I think it was a week or weeks. Yeah, I think it was a few weeks later, maybe 2 weeks, or I don't know. I don't remember quite well, but I got a message. The interviews and everything happened in April, and it was May. Yeah, it was around the beginning of May. The first week of May, I got a message to say my interview was successful, and I was requested to. It was a message to come in and sign the contract and everything. And I couldn't believe it. I was just glorifying God, telling my mom, and we were happy, we were celebrating, and everything was nice. I went there, I signed a contract, submitted everything that needed to be submitted, my banking details and everything, and just like that, I started working. Just like that. This all happened in less than 2 months. I would say it all happened in a month. It all was, remember, I applied on the 31st of March, interviewed in April, and started working in May, first week of May. So yeah, God is good all the time. So I'm doing this video to give glory to God, first of all, to say that what he did for me then, yeah, like, may his name be glorified forever and ever. And to say to someone who is in the same situation as me, or that I was in years ago, that do not let people speak over your life. I had people say, oh, you did that course, you're not going to find a job, this. Take it all to God. Bring it before God. God will know what to do with it. God will know what to do. God will lead you. He will guide you. He will take you to the right places. He will open the right doors, the right opportunities. So just pray about it all. If anybody's going to come to speak against your future, against your life, take it to God. Pray about it. And yeah, that's the best that I can tell anybody who's facing a similar situation or who's currently going through the worries of, is this cause good enough?